Hiya, it's Hannah, or I call myself the Artisan Duck. I thought today we'd have a go at this really easy earring project. It's a bead weaving earring with a simple beaded bezel, and I'm used a 6mm faceted glass bead instead of something like a Rivoli or something else that you'd want to put into a bezel. I'm also using size 8 seed beads and a size 11 seed bead. I've got a needle, a beading needle, and I've put it on pretty much 1 arm lengths of a Black Wildfire beading thread. Right, so we're going to start off with a section of right angle weave. So we're going to pick up 4 of these seed beads, and I've got 18 of these size 8s in total. We're going to use all 18 on this one section. So you pick up 4, push them down, and we're going to tie a knot at the other end. And we're going to leave a reasonably good length of thread at the end so that we can weave that in once we've finished the earring. So I'll knot this through. I like to knot it, it just keeps it slightly more secure when we're doing our bead stitching. And we'll do a double knot. Really keep it nice and secure. Right, so what we're going to do is move away from the knot by taking the needle up through one of the size 8s and then taking it back round again to the next one and back up through there. Right, now we're going to start the right angle weave section. So we're going to pick up just 3 now of these size 8s. I'm going to go through the same size 8 that we came out of, but in the opposite direction, and the black thread makes it super simple to see which way I'm going. So if I pull it, you can see we've now got one on top of the other, just like that. I'm going to pull it, and now I'm going to go up through the size 8. So our needle thread's coming out. I'm trying to make sure you can see what I'm doing. So the thread's coming out of this bead, and the next one round is here. The idea is we want to get our needle and thread out to this top bead. So we're going to sew into this one here. Oops. Sew into this one here, which is the next one around. Keep my finger on it so the beads don't fall off. And then we're going to sew back round to this top one. Right, just like that, and there we are exiting out the top bead. So we're going to pick up another 3 of the size 8s and repeat this section all over again. So the same bead we came out of, and we're going to go into it again, but from the opposite direction. It does get a little wibbly at this point, and it really doesn't matter. You can see it nice and clearly. Right, so I'm going to do all of it until I've used up all but 2. I need to have 2 left of these size 8 seed beads, so I'll be back in a minute once I've done that. Right, I'm back. I've got 2 of the size 8s left. You can see the little section of right angle weave there. Oops. Right, we've moved round, so we're exiting out of the top bead like normal. We're going to pick up one of these size 8s. I'm going to go to the other end of the bead weaving, to the little end bead here, and we're coming out the top, so we're going to go into the top on the other side. You're going to pull it down, and it's going to start pulling the 2 sides together, just like that. And we're going to pick up the last size 8, and the bead we came out of, which is here, so before adding this one, we're going to go back up into that one and pull. Oops. And as we pull, you can see it's making a little beaded loop here. It'll all become slightly more clear in a second. So now we're going to get our size 6mm faceted bead. We're going to pick that up, push it down through the needle and through the thread. And you're actually going to have to push this into the centre of the beadwork, but it does fit. Just like that. It does fit there like that. You see it? And then you're going to go through this sort of it's the most logical bead along. So your thread's coming out here, and you can see this little seed bead here that's bridging. We're going to go through there, and it's just going to mean that our faceted bead is securely held in place with that piece of thread inside all that beadwork. There you go, you see. It's all held in place now, it's not going anywhere. And we just need to neaten it all up and add a little bit of decoration to it. So to bead around the front, we're going to go through one of the front facing beads, so one of the ones that's at the front going round, the 6mm, go through, and you're going to pick up one of your size 11 seed beads, the next size 8 along, which is just here. I'm going to pull the needle, and that size 11 is going to sit between those two beads. I'm going to do that all the way around. I'll be back in a second once I've done it. There we go. All the beads are done. It's all looking much better. It's hiding all that, the threads that would one show. So what we're going to do now is we need to go through the front to do the same on the front. So we're going to take the needle. We're coming out of this size 8 here. Let's see if I can show you where we're coming from. We're coming out of that size 8. So we're going to take the needle through the size 8 that's going between the beads, push it through like that. As before, the bead we're coming out of, we're going to go into the next size 8 along here, like that. And we're going to start exactly the same. We're going to pick up one size 11 and go into the next size 8 along. Just like that. I shall be back in a minute once I've done them all. There we go. Front and back are both now identical. So from here you can see we're exiting out of a size 8. We're simply going to pick up 3 of these size 11s, and we're going to take the needle just like that. We're going to take the needle, and instead of putting it into the next bead along, we're going to jump over that one and into the next size 8. It's going to make a little pointy hat. Oh, that's my tail thread. Little pointy hat just there on top of the bead, and that's the final bit of the decoration. So we're going to do that all the way around. I'll be back in a minute when it's all done. There we go, there's our finished earring front. We need to add the loop now for the earring hook, so we need to make that next. We're exiting the needle out of this size 8, so we're going to take it up through 2 of the size 11 seed beads, with the idea being that we exit out the centre bead, and that's where we're going to make our loop from. So there we go, we're exiting out of there. We're now going to pick up 6 of these size 11 seed beads. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And just like we did at the right angle weave, we're going to go in through the same bead that we've come out of, but in the opposite direction. So you got the thread coming out, and we'll take a needle through the opposite direction and pull. Right, so there is our beaded loop. We're going to go through this again and it'll sort itself out in a minute because it's all got a little bit out of shape. So we're going to go through all these beads again, just to make sure it's nice and strong. Like that. So we've gone through all of them again, and we're going to go through the same size 11 that we came out of. There we go, and pull, keep it tight. There we go, and you can see the loop there. What we're going to do now is, because we need to knot it, we're going to go through the next size 11 down, moving back towards the beadwork. So we're going to go through there. We're going to go through the size 8, and this time I'm going to push it so that the needle is coming out at the back of the beadwork. And don't sew through down the loop. There we go, that loop's sitting there. And now we're going to go through to the back. Just move this tail thread out of the way again. By going through, so I'm exiting out of here, so the next bead along in our right angle weave is this one here. So through there, we're going to go through the front bead just like that. And now we're going to start knotting it. So I always like to knot in front, if possible, in front of the largest bead, because as you pull the knots, they'll disappear into the beadwork or into the bead itself. So in order to start knotting, I like to go between the threads. You can see there's a thread there, and I'm going across it that way. I'm going to pull the needle, not the tail thread, pull the needle down. So there's a little thread loop left. I don't know if you can see that, or I just pulled it just there. I'm going to go through that with the needle. I'm going to pull the threads until it tightens and it forms a knot, and that is now sitting across that thread and in between those beads. Because it's the first one and I got the space too, I'm going to do a second knot exactly the same. Loop it through, pull, just like that. Sew through into the beadwork. I'm going to go through this size 8 and this size 11, and I'm going to do another knot, and I'm going to pull through, and I'll do a couple of knots all the way around. Once I've done that, I will do exactly the same on the tail thread, and I shall come back in a minute once I've done it all. Right, here we are. I've knotted both of those off. So they're both all nice and secure. The beadwork now can't come undone. Just to let you know how I've cut them off, I put my beadwork down on the table and I put my scissors flat against it, as close to it as I can. The thread that I'm cutting, I pull and then I snip. And it just means that as you pull up, a little bit of that thread comes out, and then when you let it go, it pings back into the bead. So it's all secure and shouldn't come out. So do the same with the other end. There we go. And now we just need to add the earring hook. So here's my earring hook. I'm going to take my pliers. So it's just twist it open, never pull it apart, always twist. I'm going to get my earring here and just pop it on into that opening and then twist it shut again. There we go. There's our finished earring. And here's the other one. I've also made it in this other colour option here, and I wrote a step-by-step blog post on this one with photos. So if you'd rather see this step-by-step with photos, I'll add the link below for my blog. But they make pretty cool earrings. I've made them in different colours. I keep intending on buying some 6mm pearls to have a go with that, because I think that would look pretty nice. All right, thanks a lot. Thanks for watching. Bye.